This is faith and this is unbelief. Let me explain. It says in Romans 10 that faith comes by hearing the word of God. So when I hear the word of God and I understand it, it brings faith. This cup is your heart. However, in Hebrews, it says that those who heard the word of God, it was not made effectual because they did not mix it with faith when they heard it. But if I hear the word of God, doesn't it bring the faith needed for it to be effectual? So what negates the faith? And that's where unbelief comes in. Because when a man came and brought his son to Jesus and said, "Can my son be healed?" Jesus said, "All things are possible to those who believe." And the man said, "Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief." So you can have both faith and unbelief. And in the same way, when we go into church and we hear something that says that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and that I am loved with everlasting love, and you understand it, and it brings faith. However, your past experiences, trauma, and your core beliefs will most likely speak louder than the faith you just heard, and it'll bring unbelief. And this is what your heart looks like. Does this mean that the word of God doesn't work and that it's not a double-edged sword? No, because even Jesus said to his disciples that a mustard seed of faith can move mountains. And so therefore, it's not the issue of how much faith you have. It's that the unbelief is murking the waters of your heart. And the big issue is that even if I keep pouring the word of God into it and I keep listening, it's still murky. And so instead of constantly pouring more word of God into it, the more logical thing to do is to pour out your cup. But what does it really look like to pour out our cup before the Lord? And that's what we're going to talk about next, is how to pour out our cup before the Lord so we have the good and noble soil, as it says in Matthew, for the word to produce fruit.